Nice, huh? Yeah, I like him. Put him back here. Okay. That was the best I could do this time. Deal with it. Okay. So, we thought Sabers was the end. It kind of seemed like it, right? Change of style. Couple years without a season. Things weren't looking too good. Late 2009, we got the first scans and an announcement of a new season. To my excitement, I was ecstatic for this news because this was around the time where I got back into the series and I finally had a chance to watch through Frontier and Sabers for the first time and then rewatch the previous 3 seasons. So I was just now getting back into the series when this was announced, so it made me even more excited to watch the whole series over again. Scheduled to come out in like July of 2010. So I got out for summer that year, and the whole summer break it was just, I can't wait for this show to start, I can't wait for Xros Wars to start. And I missed the premiere because Keyhole didn't work. Someone was like, here, use this to watch it. Okay, yeah, it doesn't work. I was so mad. And the Raw was put up like 5 hours later. So I missed the premiere, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But the season that followed was not a disappointment by any means. And I'm just gonna say this right now. I know the season's fairly new. I mean, the season ended like what, 5 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago. The season itself is not even what, not even 2 years old now. And I understand a lot of people haven't seen Xros Wars yet. And shoot, knowing what I put up on my real channel, probably most of you are Xros Wars, have seen Xros Wars and everything. So probably if you haven't seen Xros Wars yet and you don't want to be spoiled, stop the video right now, because I'm going to be spoiling the whole story and everything that makes this story so great. So if I get a bunch of complaints about spoiling, here's your giant spoiler tag. I don't want to get any wah-wah complaints of spoilers, because I got a giant spoiler thing at the beginning, so deal with it. If I get you spoiled the season for me, well, it's your fault, moron. Okay. Okay, so now that's out of the way. Right off the gate, we're introduced to a battle scene. And we're getting right into the thing. No, it's a dream. Season starts off on a dream of him, of the newest Gogglehead, and in my opinion, well, not the newest Gogglehead, but the latest Gogglehead, and probably in my opinion the best Gogglehead / leader of the entire series, Taiki Kudo. His dream of leading an army. He wakes up, goes to a basketball game, outshines everybody. Faints afterward. We're introduced to his best friend Akari. And some random doofus comes out of nowhere named Zenjiro, challenges him to a kendo match, saying that you beat me, I want a rematch, and Taiki's saying, I'm not very good at it, I just beat you out of sheer luck. It's like, there's no way a beginner's that good. So he hears a noise, a melody. He goes and chases it down, and he sees a dying Shoutmon, the new main Digimon. So he saves him, and the new Digivice appears in front of him, the Crossloader. He asks him, do you want to be a hero? Sure, takes it. All 3 of them go to the Digiworld. They wake up in a battlefield. And new Digimon pop up everywhere. Ballistamon, the Robot Beetle, Starmon, Pikmon, which are this guy. I'm not getting the Pikmon out. They're a pain to get out of this box. Yeah, that's Starmon, except he doesn't have this. He's got a mouth there. And then he gets revived. He's released from the crossover. We introduce, okay, Shoutmon. So we're introduced to the newest evolution style right out of the gate, Digicrossing. No, it's not DNA. It's nothing like DNA. So you 02 fan nerds can shut up. It's not DNA. And I think I ranted about that in my 02 review, but if I have to later, then I will. Get it right. And it's cool because it's just mixing, like stacking Digimon onto one center. Instead of fusing them together, it's more of an equip the other Digimon to a centerpiece. There's my compare and contrast. So, the new heroes blow up this thing called Madaleomon. Pretty simple. Then we see two weird people. We see a girl holding, like, with a bunch of Digimon with TVs for heads, and then this really dark-looking dude with a blue Greymon and a metal Birdramon. Malbirdramon, switch around. So time goes on, they run into the new guy. I mean, the blonde-haired dark guy. His name's Kiria, and he's in charge of the Blue Flare Army. And so basically Kiria is the Matt of this season, except unlike Matt and Koji and Thomas, he's not a teammate that has a grudge against him. He is literally on a whole team by himself. This is the first time when the term rival to the main character actually meant rival. Instead of teammate with a grudge, he's actually a rival. Because the season's called Xros Wars, there's a bunch of armies. So, Kiria and his Blue Flare Army are fighting for one thing. So, after Crossheart finally destroys Red Madaleomon with the help of another Digimon, Dorulumon, who doesn't join the main team for a few episodes, they end up donning their armies named Crossheart. And thus begins the legend of the Great Crossheart Army. Seriously. I mean, shoot, the logo's amazing. I'm trying to get a t-shirt made with the logo, with the Crossheart Army emblem on it. If I get it made, I'll show it to you guys. I've already got the palette and everything made out for it. I just need to find a place to put the thing on the shirt. So serious, I like Crossheart's logo that much. So they go to different areas, and the mysterious girl named Nene shows up and tells them each zone has this thing called a code crown. It's a piece of the digital world's, basically the key to the digital world. Which army collects all of the code crowns will be granted key to the digital world and be able to reshape the world in her image. So Taiki and Shoutmon know what they got to do. Because Shoutmon wants to become the king of the digital world, and the only way to do that is get the code crowns, and Taiki just wants to put this world in good hands, and he knows Shoutmon's good hands. So that's the goal of Crossheart. Blue Flare wants to create a world, well, Kiria wants to create a world where the strong survive and the weak die. Pretty cold, but it makes sense for his character. The Bagra army, which is the bad guy army, wants to create a corrupt world for Lord Bagramon. And Nene's army, which we later find out is Team Twilight, isn't there for the code crown. There's a whole... Trust me, the Team Twilight thing's going to get really intense later on. So, they go to each zone collecting the code crowns. I'm trying to make this story thing short. Because like the last time they were like 20-30 minutes long for Frontier and Sabers. I'm not doing that again. So, they go through the different areas. They run into the three main generals of the Bagra army, which would be Tactimon, Lilithmon, and Blastmon. We know what Lilithmon is. I mean, Lilithmon's been in the games and everything for a while. Blastmon's a big diamond doofus, literally. He's the idiot. And Tactimon's, he looks like a feudal Japan samurai, and he's by far the best of the three, and the most intimidating. So, in the Angel Zone, that's not the name, when Lucenmon's going on a rampage, we're introduced to Nene's, well, Nene has two Digimon. Sparrowmon, which is her main Digimon, it's like a jet Digimon. and probably by far the best villain in the entire series, Dark Knightmon. Now, I'm going to go off on why Dark Knightmon is such a great villain as this thing goes on, and I think some of you will agree with me. Dark Knightmon is best plot twist in the series. So, why does Nene have such an evil Digimon? Well, we get that as we find out as we get to the Forest Zone, as they're hunting down the mystical guardian of the forest, Decadramon. Nene leaks to Taiki that Dark Knightmon is holding her brother Yu hostage, and the only way she can get him back is if she obeys Dark Knightmon and gains all the dark energy in order for we don't know. So after after they go to the next area, he has just a little bit more dark energy he needs to collect. He tosses Nene aside because he's practically done with her at this point. Kitty Hawk gives him the last bit of dark energy he needs, and at the same time hypnotizing him to become a member of the Twilight Army. So Taiki frees Nene. Nene becomes, well, not necessarily a member of Crossheart just yet. She does in a couple episodes. And Dark Knightmon's using Kitty Hawk, and they eventually snap him out of it. And we find out all this dark energy he was building was to create this thing called Darkness Loader, which is basically an evil cross loader that the villains can use. So he goes back. We don't see Dark Knightmon again for a while. So Nene becomes a member of Crossheart. They're doing fine until they get to the Sword Zone. And this is where Taiki gains the last remaining code crown, because there's 108. And they said once every single code crown has been collected, then it basically just becomes a battle between the armies. So as soon as Taiki gets the last one, Kitty Hawk shows up, and Bagramon sends Tactimon to represent the Bagra army to try to get the last, to try to get the code crowns. So this is basically the final fight for the code crown pieces. Tactimon basically beats down on Blue Flare and Crossheart. They basically don't have a chance until Cross 5B, that jumbled mess of a cross, top heavy, ends up knocking Tactimon straight to a wormhole. After Tactimon pulls the code crowns from Taiki and Kitty Hawk's crossloaders, and they think that they won, and this big skeleton hand comes out, absorbs the code crowns. Well, I find out that was Bagramon who absorbed them, so now everybody's freaking out. Tornado takes Taiki, Akari, Zendro, and Shoutmon and shoots them back to Earth. Just like an adventure, they come home, barely much time has passed. Time moves faster in the digital world, an adventure similarity. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of Xros Wars, just because of what happens later. Now, up to this point, it's been nothing but crosses. Cross 2, Cross 3, Cross 4, 4B, 5, 5B, 5K, 4K, 4S, Metal Greymon, Decker Greymon, yada yada yada. And this got a lot of people upset because they're like, where's the evolutions? Is it just gonna be these bunch of Digimon packing on to this little pipsqueak? So, Tactimon's revived in the human world, gone on a rampage, says, oh my digital airspace here is amazing, I must inform Bagramon of this. No, Xiaomon on his own is not going to beat Tactimon, because if Cross 5B had trouble, there's no way basic Xiaomon's going to be able to beat him. So all the other members of Crossheart were stuck back in the digital world. So, Akari and Zendro caught by him. And their energy, well, I skipped something big here. And this energy gives the crossloader new ability. Now what I skipped was there's these things called, give me a second, called Digimemories. Yeah, this comes with the Shoutmon figure. It's Agumon. Check out the battle card picture. The battle card game picture. These things called Digimemories. Now basically when he puts them in the crossloader, it forms spirits of the Digimon that's on them. Now, what was the point behind these? They just seem like gimmick for toys, right? And, well, when they get sucked back in the human world, they run across Omnimons. And he explains that these were the Digimon that tried to help prevent the Digiworld from breaking apart, which started the whole Xros War. And during the explosion, his was sent to Earth, and he was finding the human who could hear the Digimelody, Taiki. He heard it. He's the one he's looking for. He's on the crossloader, and he's the one he's hoping to save the digital world. Makes sense. I mean, it's not a stupid reason. I mean, it makes sense. But why they were turned into these, I don't know. I'm not questioning it. I mean, it doesn't make it. I mean, it makes sense. So I'm not going to question it. So he was questioning why Akari and Zenjo were sent to digital world Taiki. Well, he later finds out why, because their energy, funny thing, their energy of courage and friendship, an orange light and a blue light, gives them Omega. I mean, that's a big homage to adventure in its own way. Unlocks the power for evolution, or Digivolution. So, first time I saw this moment, my jaw dropped. Shoutmon digivolves to Omega Shoutmon, and my favorite moment of Xros Wars, because I did not see this coming. It stunned me. The fight scene with him and Tactimon was just amazing in almost every way. Especially the part where We Are Crossheart stops and he yells beat slash and just drills a hole in him. Oh my gosh. I was the one that I got a clip of and put it up on my original account, Catch 17, before that one was shut down. I re-uploaded to my main account. It's still there. It's the same version. It just doesn't have 90,000 views like it did on my original account. Dang you, Toei. Don't like my stuff. So Omnimon, or Megamon for you Japanese purists, sends him back saying, "Oh, you two can't go. Just you and Shoutmon go. Okay, bye." So they go back. They find out that the digital world's been split into. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. My mom just walked in, so we'll probably have to cut this out. This is back in the digital world's cut into 7 kingdoms, each ruled by a death general. So now the goal is clear: kill the death generals, restore peace to each of the nations, go and get rid of Bagramon head on. Simple enough, right? Well, yeah. They run into Kiria. He's obviously changed uniforms. They run into Nene. She's changed uniforms. Apparently a lot of times passed. And Kiria gets surprised when Shoutmon digivolves, because he was just jogging. He didn't believe it. So they're fighting Dorbikmon, the first death general they run across. Metal Greymon about to die, and he unlocks the power to digivolve Metal Greymon to Zeke Greymon. Now my question here is, we saw how Shoutmon got the ability to digivolve to Omega Shoutmon. It was Akari and Zenjo's power given to... Now, where the heck did Kiria's power for Zeke Greymon come from? Was it that whole pride thing that Dracmon was telling him about, just to unlock something or something? I don't know. They never... It just kind of happens. But it was cool seeing Zeke Greymon just blow through Dork Bigmon like nothing. So they jumped around to different areas. The next one, the Vampire Land, where they're introduced to Neo Myotismon. I know he's Neo Vandemon, but Vandemon is Myotismon, so I call it Neo Myotismon. Deal with it. So he force crosses himself with Metal Greymon. Kitty breaks. He's like, no, my Digimon. So Shoutmon's like, I know how it's like to have to cross. I'm going there and save him. So he's been basically taking the Lotmon from that area to restore himself. Every time he gets cut in half, he gets put back together. Okay, yeah, good. Peachy keep on dandy. But when the Lotmon sacrifice themselves to give them the power to fuse together. So we're introduced to D-Cross, which is Omega Shaman Z Greymon crossed together. And he blows Neo Myotismon to pieces. So, I mean, they kill Neo Myotismon. Then they go to the next land, Zamielmon, the little midget guy. They end up getting him. Then they go to the, what was it? The Gold Sea Land? Gold Land? And with Oregamon. No, they go to Splashmon's area next. Then they go to Oregamon. Then we get to Gravimon. This is the next time where something really big happens. And Kitty wants this guy dead. We don't know why he wants Gravimon. But he thinks he beats him. No. He didn't kidnap Kitty and Crossheart was making their escape. And then he ends up tricking Kitty into a Matt/Thomas situation. Kill him, and your dream and your goal will be accomplished. Has Kitty not been watching the other seasons? Matt did this, Thomas didn't. Well, Thomas, he had his own reason. But Matt, did you not pay attention to what Matt did? And why I was wrong? Of course not, because that'd be impossible. Then we get this big fight between Omega's Shoutmon and Zeke Greymon, which is pretty coolly animated. And Kitty Hud's going nuts. He starts sicking his Digimon on Taiki. And Dramon comes out and is like, this is not why I joined you. You don't have that love that you had that made me want to join your army. Kitty Hud's like, you disobeying me? Kill him? And yeah, they kind of beat him to pieces until Dramon shows the others what he's been going through. It's all about his dad telling him to be tough, and both of his parents died in a wreck, so he decided, so he's like, okay, I'm going to be a toughie. Turned into a dick. That's what he turned into, basically. But we finally understand, so, well, to be a man, you can't do everything on your own. You need allies. So he finds out, well, these two are my allies. So, okay, yeah, I get it now. And Gravimon kills him. He goes crazy. And before he went, Dramon was like, here, you have a new Digicross now. So we're introduced to Cross 7, which is a beast. They have trouble with Gravimon because of the stupid core thing. They end up breaking that, he dies. And they go to the last area, which is Apollomon. Apollomon is the one Death General that's not actually evil. He's just fooling Bagramon to try to like be an inside man and wait for heroes to come by and team up with him. Now, the thing I skipped over is that Nan's sister is now the carrier of the original Darkness Loader. Now, each of the Death Generals is a Darkness Loader, but they're a clone of the one Yu has. And he's running Team Twilight, so basically Dark Knightmon and Damimon, or Swamon, however you want to look at it, are his two partners. Well, this is when Yu and his army starts getting into business. They end up corrupting Apollomon with the Whispered. And they end up going down to the digital... Well, I'm just going to say Underworld because I'm not really allowed to cuss in my house. So I'm not going to say, you know, what it's really called. So just bear with me here. Just go with it. So they're down there, and it's this it's an amazing, what, 3 or 4 episodes of the chess game between Taiki and you down there. Funny thing is, though, Kitty has the one out that outsmarts you in this. Trade and match Digimon. Like, here, Taiki, you take my guys. Nene, you take them. You take Taiki's guys. Okay. You thinks that the digital world is a virtual reality, so he doesn't think there's any consequences. Thus, he acts like it. Crossheart is trying to convince him otherwise, because they know it's not a game. So it takes him seeing Swamon and hanging on for dear life to realize that it's real. I mean, he's hurt. He's not going to feel pain if it's a game, right? So you starts to fall apart. Damimon dies in his hands. This hits him really hard. And Dark Knightmon's like, okay, well, I need you in order to Digicross. With what? Yeah. I like, you know where this is going, right? Well, if you've seen the season, you know where this is going. So he ends up putting you in a machine in order to generate energy. The Palomon's destroyed. They go to the Demon's Nest, which is where Bagramon's castle is. When they approach the castle, Bagramon comes out. No, fake, sorry, April Fools. Dark Knightmon comes out and revives the Death Generals. They're puppets. Their souls aren't there. So they have to fight these mindless puppets, and they're kind of having trouble with them because he fuses them all together in this thing called Grand Generamon. That thing was hideous. I mean, interesting how they got each Death General's part in there, but it looked grotesque. They end up having trouble with this thing. So they run away after Dark Knightmon steals the souls of Xiaomon, Bellisamon, and Dorumon. And Metal Greymon reminds them of how Xiaomon went into Neo Vandemon and saved him. So Taiki was like, okay, I'm going to go to this prison land and save them. Okay, so he does that. He's like, okay, Dark Knightmon, take me away. Okay, yeah. Bye, Taiki. He wakes up there, runs into the Death Generals. Their souls are there. Well, 6 of the Death Generals and Whispered. The 3 members of Crossheart, Xiaomon, Bellisamon, Dorumon, come up, and it's Cross 3 versus the Death Generals. Well, this isn't a very good matchup for Crossheart at all. But Oregamon, who was the one who understood the whole friendship ally thing, looked at Taiki and was like, you know what? These people don't like me. You understand my ideals better than these freaks do. I'm going to join you. And then when Whispered starts to understand like how strong unity can be, then Apollomon wakes up. So now it's Apollomon and Oregamon and Crossheart versus Whispered and the other 5 Death Generals. Apollomon destroys Whispered, and he's like, okay, Oregamon, you and these guys go back. So he sends it back to the real world. Oregamon destroys the thing that revived the Death Generals. Cross 7 blows up the incomplete Grand Generamon. And when their bodies are being used up, the souls back in Prison Land get blown up. They're dead. Simple as that. So what's next for Crossheart? Bagramon. They head to his castle. Bagramon and Dark Knightmon come out. Now, something I completely skipped back at the halfway mark of the season is that we find out Dark Knightmon is really the younger brother of Bagramon. Now, it kind of caught me off guard, too. So, they're allies, basically. And Bagramon's about to activate his plan called D5, which is basically to fuse all dimensions together, blow them up, and then he rebuilds them under his own power. How the heck is he going to do it? Well, his big freaking right arm is able to warp reality. So he just reaches his hand up into the human world, freaks it out, starts warping and turns everything to stone, dries the planet up. Akari and Zendro find two things and they're saved. That's going to be explained later. And basically, Omega, Shoutmon, Cross 7, Greymon, whatever forms they have, keep attacking him, and all he's just throwing him back with his left arm. It's like, hey, you can't touch me. I've got one little skinny arm. And they can't touch him. I mean, gee whiz, he's just got one arm, like, pointed out like this. It's like, haha, I'm the greatest. And they can't do anything about it. And then when they do injure him, he has the code crown in him, or the dark stone, because it's been corrupted. It can heal him, so they can't do anything. And when the crown breaks open, Taiki, Mervamon, and Nightmon all fall in. So basically, it's Kitty-Ha, Shoutmon, and Nene standing up against them. Well, Omega, Shoutmon, Greymon, they shoot a blast at him. And he holds up and blocks it, but you see Bagramon, like, a painful, shocking face. Like, did they get him? Did that blow manage to hit a sweet spot? Well, down underneath, Taiki, Mervamon, Nightmon find a generator feeding off of human energy. So they found you, practically. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. They end up finding him and saving him, thus shutting off the darkness loader. That's what happens in the early parts of the next episode. When they back up to where the action is, Dark Nightmon has just pulled the biggest twist in the entire series. He literally backstabs Bagramon. Literally, he takes his lance and stabs him in the back. Literally backstabbing, I'm not even joking. And he's like, so I'm the one that discovered the Xros. Why do you think I discovered the Xros, huh? I've been wanting to fuse with you because you've been kicking me around the whole time. I'm getting sick of you being a bully to me. So he ends up force crossing himself with Bagramon, becoming the Darkness Bagramon Dark Knight mode. Preview. Preview things to come. So he ends up going on. He's like so powerful, they can't do anything about it. Taiki and the others come up with you. Taiki sees what's going on. He forms they've reformed Cross 7. And he's holding back Cross 7's assault. He gets like a twitch and then gets blown up, falls to the ground. What's wrong with him? Well, inside, Bagramon's still alive inside the cross and kills Dark Nightmon inside of the cross. So he wakes up and Bagramon takes full control of the Digicross, introducing to the true Darkness Bagramon. He just tosses Cross 7 aside like he's nothing. And Shoutmon saying that this is our last shot. I mean, if we fail here, it's a all or nothing situation now. So he goes in head on all by himself, trying to attack where the Darkness Stone is inside his chest. And Shoutmon ends up killing himself. This literally gave me a mini heart attack. So like, I mean, I know the lead Digimon died in Savers when Ruin Mode, Shine Greymon Ruin Mode committed suicide to save himself. But in the Savers universe, Digimon die and immediately become eggs. In Xros Wars, when they die, they die. So, in Savers, this wasn't that big of a deal. But in Xros Wars, this was... the main guy dead? What the frick is going on here? And Taiki just crumbles. He ends up sending him into like a gap in between the worlds. He goes to Earth and he's like, okay, now to begin D5. So, Zendro, Akari and Zendro end up pulling him up, and they're in this in-between gap between worlds where everybody is there. And then the Digi-memories of War Greymon and Examon end up telling him, it's like, okay, well, we saved you, but there's a chance that you can still win this. They're saying Shoutmon might still be alive inside the Dark Stone, inside of Darkness Bagramon. So when they come out there, to see that the Bugger army is attacking. So basically what they're doing is Taiki is going in with the Digimelodies memories to find Shoutmon inside Darkness Buggermon. Get it right. Akari and Cutemon end up going with him, while the other people and armies and everything are outside holding off forces. Took the original Darkness Lord and turned it into a yellow cross loader. So he's crossing Digimon. And see Greymon, Jetmarvamon, a whole bunch of other Digimon are tearing down the fleets. And when they're inside, they're looking for Shoutmon. And Buggermon ends up popping up in front of them. And basically puts Taiki on death's row. Knocks him in the air, it's about to blow him up. Akari and Cutemon are going crazy because they're like, Taiki's about to die. Suspense is building. Taiki thought he lost. Shoutmon out of freaking nowhere. Ends up saving him. Finds out that the Code Crown rejected Buggermon, accepts Shoutmon. The Code Crown goes with them outside. And with the power of the Code Crown, Shoutmon is able to go God mode. Activates the final cross. He opens up, he fuses with the memories. And all the allied Digimon on their side. And ends up ripping a gateway in between both worlds. And crosses every single Digimon from the digital world and becomes Cross 7 Superior mode. Which is by far the strongest main Digimon from any of the main teams. At first I thought it was Imperial Dramon Paladin mode. It was until this thing, Godmon, kills Darkness Buggermon in one stab to the stomach. He dies, everything is restored. Shoutmon and Crossheart Digimon take the Code Crown back to the digital world to restore everything. Ta-da! Short, sweet ending. Alright. That was still too long. Okay. So, it was a very good story. I know I kind of brushed over some of the things, but it's a great story. It's probably my favorite story, right above of Tamers for best story in the Digimon seasons. Now, like I said at the beginning, I think Taiki is by far the best leader because unlike Tai, where he started off as a hot-headed guy who tries to drag the team with him, he tries too forcefully to be the leader, but it takes him forever to become a leader. Taiki basically is a child, is a prodigy. He knows how to do things immediately, right off the gate. He's a freaking genius. I mean, the second episode, he understands what to do with the cross-loader and how to cross Digimon in order to gain advantages. So, I mean, he knows how to do things, like, instantly. So, I mean, some people like Rainmon, if you know Rainmon's blog, after Xros Hunters ended, he put up his final thoughts on the whole Xros Wars universe series in general. He said he doesn't like Taiki due to lack of no development. But here's the thing. There's a difference between, let's say, Davis and Tagaru, who are characters that received no development but needed it severely, and characters like Taiki who don't receive any development but didn't need it. And honestly, I think it was nice to have a character who was almost perfect from the get-go. And like I said, Taiki's a freaking genius. I mean, they'll be in a trouble, flick the goggles, Taiki just figured out how to win. And his plans always worked. I mean, he just has a sense of what to do and what he needs to do and how to do it and gets it done. He is the perfect leader. He understands scenarios, he understands people, he knows his surroundings, he's just the perfect leader. And he's my second favorite leader behind Tai. I mean Tai's Tai, but honestly he's by far the best gogglehead leader in the entire series. I don't think anybody can question that. He's a freaking genius. And every time when I was rewatching Xros Wars, every time he did something, like said something like, "No, let's not jump out of this mine car." Like, why? I mean, how'd you know there was a river down here? I was like, oh, well, because I could smell and hear water. See, I would have never done that. I would have been like, abandoned cart. No, he smelled moisture in the air, so he's like, oh, cliff. Well, there must be a river down there. Hold on, splash. See, told you. I mean, who? I mean, Takato, Davis, Tai, Takuya, Marcus. None of them would have been able to do that. That was the moment when I realized Taiki was going to be something special. He really was. I enjoyed watching him do his stuff. I mean, every time he did something great, I was like, I never expect anything less from him. Now, Shoutmon. He starts off a bit as a goofball. Kind of reminded me a bit of Marcus's Agumon. But he had a determination. He wanted to be the king. And when they were sent back to Earth, and he digivolved to Omega Shoutmon the first time, and came back to the Digital World to stop the Death Generals, he changed. And he changed to be like, okay, I've got to be serious now. We're on the losing end of things. It's not a war to get the Code Crowns, it's a war to get them back. So he became serious, and he basically became a leader, a Digimon version of Taiki. And like I said, he's my second favorite Digimon behind Tai's Agumon, but honestly, I think he is the best Digimon. As much as I like the Tai Agumon partnership, Taiki Shoutmon is the best human Digimon duo ever. I mean, the stuff they pull is amazing. And Shoutmon definitely becomes the leader, and especially in Xros Hunters when he is the king. I mean, he becomes even more serious and more leadership heavy in that season. Ballistamon is cool. He had one moment where he was supposed to be Oregamon's like sound amplifier weapon, and Shoutmon fixed him and he became Ballistamon. He's basically Shoutmon's best friend. There's nothing really much to him. Dorulumon was an interesting character because he started off as a loner. He had Cutemon with him. And basically he's an ex-Bagramon general who got sick of the army. I think he was being an inside man trying to tear him down. He ended up escaping. And he was being a loner. He felt like he couldn't be trusted. And then when Taiki was like, well, I trust him just fine. Okay, so he joins Crossheart. I really like Dorulumon. Cutemon, he's looking for his parents. Yes, Cutemon's a guy. Stunned me, too. He's looking for his parents. He ended up finding his parents in the Sugarland. That was a nice moment. But he stays with Crossheart. Starmon and Pigmon, they're goofy. Plain and simple. They're goofy. They're usually the swords and the axes for the different crosses. They're mostly used as well. Starmon's funny, though. Because he always have like twitchings. He's like, yeah, brother. He's funny. The Pigmon are just like Starmon's little army minions. Akari is Taiki's best friend. She's basically there to pick him up when he overdoes himself and faints. Zenjiro is basically like, he's just there. I mean, honestly, they're cool characters and all, but they were funny, but they annoyed me too much in the first arc, in the Code Crown arc. So I mean, in the Death General arc, I like the Death General arc more because those two weren't there. I mean, I have nothing against them. I think they took away from the seriousness of Xros Wars. Now Kiriha, I explained Kiriha's growth because, I mean, he was the rival. Then when the Death Generals, he joined Crossheart to form Crossheart United, which was Crossheart and Blue Flare put together, and he became basically an ally. And then when he realized what his dad was trying to teach him, he became a friend to Taiki. And that's basically his development. Up until Decardramon died, I hated him. Like I said back in my Tamers review, I don't like characters that are douchebags. That's why I don't like Rika. And I kind of don't like Koji. But it wasn't until he became a full-out ally of Crossheart I couldn't stand the guy. I wanted to punch him in the face. But then when he became an ally and a friend, okay, then I liked him. I mean, I like how he is now, not how he was, how he is now. Nene, she was trying to save her brother Yu, and the only way she could do that, according to Dark Knightmon, was, oh, you join me and help me gain energies of darkness, and I'll give them back to you. That's basically what she does. But when Dark Knightmon tosses her away, she joins Crossheart in order to hope and Taiki will help her save you. Basically what happens. Yu, like I explained his story, he thinks that the world's a game, they snap him out of it, he ends up joining Crossheart for the final battle. He plays kind of a different role in Xros Hunters. He deserved more airtime than he got, though. That's basically about it for the heroes. Now for Dark Knightmon. I already explained why I think Dark Knightmon's by far the best villain in the series. Because, I mean, you thought he was just Nene's evil partner. Then when he was absorbing the dark energy, we knew there was something else behind him. And when Nene says what happened to you, then we see Dark Knightmon's really a villain and he's using Nene. So now we know who Dark Knightmon is and we see Yu's with him. We understand that he's using Yu for something. And he wanted to get energy from him so he could do his big plan, which was to fuse with Baggermon, which no hints about it. It just happened. And that's what made that twist so amazing, because it just happened. I mean, you have to watch the series, the season, to understand why he's such a good villain. So, for being the 6th season, and the newest, second newest, it does so much right. And I seriously question, do I like adventure more than this season or not? Well, here's how I rank. Here's how I judge my season. Here's how I judge the seasons: by story, by the characters, and by the moments. Adventure. Like I said, I like the original 8 Digidestined. I don't hate any of them. Digimon and humans. I love all of them. Xros Wars. Akari Zendro. Kitty Ha, for about 3/4 of the season, I hated him. But at the end of the season, I liked him. So, it just goes to adventure. Story. Well, Xros Wars, obviously, is the better story. So, it's 1-1. Moments. I'd say they had an even amount of moments, but Xros Wars definitely had more memorable ones. But I just got such an emotional tie to adventure that I can't let it jump that easy. I mean, I know nostalgia doesn't necessarily play a part in why I like adventure so much. It's my emotional tie to the season. And I'm sorry, just adventure gets me riled up so much more than Xros Wars does. So yeah, the music, it's by far the best soundtrack of any season. I mean, We Are Crossheart, Evolution Digicross. So many good songs. Now I'm going to put this out there. The 2 songs that have duels, We Are Crossheart and Evolution Digicross, I keep hearing debates. Which one's the better one? Well, for me, it's the original version of We Are Crossheart, because I'm a sap for instrumental. The piano intro, the piano throughout it, the violins, I'm a sap for that kind of stuff. Plus, it's more emotionally presented and sung than the Xros 7 version. So I like the original version better. And out of Evolution Digicross, Taiki's version is like 100 times better than Kiria's version. Taiki's version is rock and it's energetic. Kiria's version is blah. People were complaining that it didn't get played enough in the season. I was perfectly fine with that. I didn't like Kiria's version. It's probably the only song from Xros Wars that I don't like. So yeah. One thing I do have against Xros Wars is that I know that it's been established since Adventure that unity and friendship and all this stuff is a big part of the series and stuff. But I think in the second half of the season, it pushed it down our throats way too much. I mean, they used the term love and deep inside your heart and all this stuff. I mean, I get it. I mean, Adventure, it didn't directly say, but it brushed up over it. Frontier barely brushed up on it. Zero Two did it the same way with the Crest, with the Digi-Eggs. Tamers didn't really touch upon it that much. Savers didn't touch upon it at all. Well, it did in its own weird way, but Xros Wars, they stuff it down your throat forcefully. Like, it gets kind of corny after a while. I mean, that's the only real downside I have to Xros Wars. But overall, I love the season. It did not disappoint me. That whole wait over that summer break was well worth it. Definitely my second favorite season behind Adventure. Very close second. That's my longest one, yay. I might actually have enough music to fit this whole time, too. I'm not going to put Never Give Up in the background because the song keeps getting muted across YouTube, and I don't want this video muted. I'm not going to run the risk. Sorry for all, I know I like the song too, but I'm just not going to run the risk. So yeah, Xros Wars, second favorite behind Adventure. So if you look at the list below, there's one spot remaining. Yeah. What's in the 7th spot? Well, obviously the next season, right? So about like 3 weeks, 3 episodes before the end of Xros Wars, we were announced Xros Wars Boy Hunters Who Left Through Time. Okay. Shortest season, worst season, but it takes what Zero Two did and made it worse. It did what Zero Two did, and I was like, yeah, we can do worse than Zero Two. But for all the crap this season was, it had one twist that made it memorable in its own manner. And trust me, we're going to be seeing a lot of old faces next time, and trust me, I'm going to have fun making the review for the next video. Trust me, it's going to be real fun. For me, for you guys, it's going to be a fun one to make and watch. So I'm going to be going over Xros Hunters in my next video as we see legends unite. And for those of you who know what happened in that season, know exactly what I'm talking about or why. 4 minutes out of that whole season was well worth it. Alright. Ketchup's out. Oh, I'm probably going to be on AO's next Digimon news show with this guy. So if you're subscribed to AO, and you know he's got doing his little Digimon show thing, well, I'm going to be on with this thing on the next episode. Hopefully. So watch out for that. Alright. Ketchup's out.